All right, everybody, welcome to our Monday night team training and inspiration call. We have so many exciting things to talk about. Plexus perks, how to use them to your advantage to help you rank up and also to get more products in the homes of your ambassadors and to keep them on the products. We're going to be talking about Mexico, the international bonus, founders bonus that you can take advantage of. We're going to have a product training, and we are also going to be talking about why the next 3.5 months are instrumental to how your business is going to explode or not explode through the end of this year. So we are going to start off by talking about Plexus perks. Right, Brooke? Yes? Maybe? Yes? Okay.
Yes, that's
Okay.
a yes.
You want to start with that?
Sure. Yep.
Was I supposed to do that? Because I can't remember now.
I know,
We
right?
literally just got off the phone with each other.
Okay. So with Plexus Perks, you have noticed if you're one of our leaders, Emily and my leaders, we have been producing these reports every single day that our assistants are pulling up. And we're putting them in the threads for you guys to see the reports and to give you an opportunity to do the messaging. One thing that's really important to us is that every single person gets notified because being able to get a solid duplicatable practice where everybody when they enroll and everybody throughout the process knows what perks is difficult. It's not necessarily happening. And so we have a lot of people that are turning off their subscriptions and they don't know they're forfeiting 400, 500. Emily had one the other day that was 700 perks points just totally forfeited because the sponsor likely didn't know or didn't reach out. And so basically we don't want to see that happen. And we're not willing to see that happen. And so we're producing these reports. We're giving you an opportunity, and only if and only you are super, super clear that you are doing them every single day, which is awesome. If you're going to do yours every single day, that means every single day you message either Emily or myself and you say, hey, I did all the perks people in my downline today. Then great. We will count that as done. But otherwise, the person that's going to lose their perks and their sponsor will just be put in a group text. It's a super friendly, not a pushy or weird text, but it's just like, hey, we want to let you know about this perks program. You have X amount of perks points, which could get you the equivalent of X, Y, and Z. I see that you turn your subscription off. When you turn your subscription off, you forfeit those perks points. I'd love for you to be able to get this free product. Can I help you? It's just like to inform them of what they are losing. People don't want to miss out on free stuff typically. And a lot of them don't know about it. And what we're seeing in Jewels and Diamonds pages is that we're seeing a lot of people turn their subscriptions back on. And we're seeing a lot of people.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. I was going to say the coolest thing about this is that you're making it about them, not you. So for example, I feel like when I'm messaging people a little bit like Santa Claus because I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know that you have earned a free product. And if you turn your subscription back on or you bring it up to 100 PV, you're going to be able to access that free product. And I know some of you might be confused about you don't even know what Plexus perks are. You haven't redeemed yours yet. You don't know where to get them. You don't know how much it is. And so I'm going to show you right now where to find the perks portal. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen right here. And right here, the perks portal, you're going to click on it. And it's going to bring you to your perks credit. Mine's low because I just bought like 2 canisters of collagen and a Joyome thing. But you'll click on redeem perks here. And then you're going to be able to see all the things that they can buy. So for example, we have the reports, so you can ask us if we include you in a message. You can say, how many points does she have? And we can say, 450. And then they might say to you, well, how much does that buy me? And then you would go to your back office, click on this part where it says redeem perks. And then you can basically scroll down and say, oh, well, you have 450 points. So you can actually buy a bottle of BioCleanse, a 7-day trial pack, a Joyome sample pack, a bag of lean shakes, a ProBio 5, an accelerator. You can buy a Plexus lean. You can buy a body cream sample pack. Like, you can just go and look here and give examples of what they can and cannot buy depending on how many points they have. You can see that upwards of 500, you're getting into collagen, Joyome, a bag of Slim. You can have all of these things that are gonna help you basically just get more product into people's houses, right? And so the response that I personally have been getting as I've been messaging people is they don't want to lose their points. They want to keep their points, and they're willing to do anything to keep their points. So what I'm also seeing happening are a lot of ambassadors scared because they don't know how to do this. So they're doing nothing. So they're scared because they don't know how many the points are worth. They don't know how to find the points. They don't know how to run the report. So they're like, it's too overwhelming. So I don't want to do anything. I just want to do it. Right? And then you're like, well, I didn't want to say anything because you were sending all the reports and I didn't know what to say because I didn't want to look stupid. And so I just didn't say anything, right? Put a 1 in the comments if you felt that way. Show everyone that they're not alone, because I know that's basically my entire team. Because I've been getting little private messages from people being like, I just have to be honest, I don't know what in the world you're talking about with Plexus perks. Like, I haven't used them, I haven't ordered. And so the best way to learn is, first of all, go in and order yourself something with your Plexus perks. Because once you order yourself something with your Plexus perks one time, you'll feel so confident. And all you do is you select redeem and it puts it in your next subscription. And then you can see it in your subscription and it's there all happy. You can be inactive for 3 days before you lose your points. So we have our virtual assistants pull the report, and every day it shows us the people that have turned off. So for example, today my list had 8 people. I messaged 54 because I didn't understand her report. So I apologize for those of you that got messages and your people might have already expired, but I did my best. I got to shoot in the dark and just learn. I've got to try. And sometimes we fail when we're learning something new, right? So just know, like, we all make mistakes. Okay, so you have 3 days to get them to turn it back on. One thing that Brooke and I wanted to be really clear about was that if you are put in a 3-way message, like so this is one thing I wanted to share. Originally, I told my team, here's the report, and tell me if you're gonna message your people, otherwise I'm gonna do it. What most people told me was that was really confusing and overwhelming, and they felt like they didn't know what to do. Brooke, you look like you're wearing a fan over your head. It looks like you're wearing a hat fan. Can you see yourself and how funny it looks? And so what I decided today to do was just to go back to my original plan, which was I'm just going to message everyone and include them with their sponsor. And Brooke has a couple of jewels that are going to keep doing it the other way. If you just want to do it yourself and you know how to run the report yourself and you know how to do all those things, just let either Brooke or myself know, whichever downline you're in, so that we don't message your people twice. Otherwise, we're just gonna go ahead and do the 8 or 10 or 20 or however many there are and just include you in the message. If you're included in a message and your person starts asking questions, guess what? Our job is just to start the message. Your job is to answer their questions and take it from there. So if you want to push the easy button and just let our assistants do all the work for you, we'll start the message and then you take it from there when they start responding. If they don't respond, that's still your job to touch base with them. If they're not gonna respond in a 3-way message, what I would recommend you doing is then messaging them privately and saying, hey, did you see that message? It looks like you are, about to lose your perks points and you have 500 points. Like, you could get a free canister of collagen with that. I just ordered mine and I'm so excited to get it. Brooke, go ahead.
I was just gonna say what Phyllis was saying there, and that is that if they already had a subscription process, all is not lost. If their subscription was like 70 PV, for example, they can go in and create another subscription for at least 30 PV. And as long as their combined subscriptions this month equal 100 PV, and they immediately set up a subscription for next month that's at least 100 PV, they don't lose any of their points. So there was some confusion as to whether or not the 100 PV had to come from just one subscription, and it doesn't. It's just the combination of subscriptions for the month has to equal 100 PV. And if their subscription has run and it was only for 70 PV, they're going to show up on that list because technically they're not qualified, and so they'll forfeit those perks. So you can't just sit on it and wait. Those subscriptions that have processed for 70 PV and their subscription for next month says 70 PV, they're going to end up on that report because we need to get their subscription for next month up to 100 PV, and we need to get them like another 30 PV in an additional subscription. Now, if I was talking to them, the way that I would do this is I would find like something they like a bottle of ease or something, and I would have them put that on a subscription, and then I would immediately help them change their subscription for next month so that it equaled 100 PV. And at the same time, I would immediately help them to use their perks, because perks only ship out with subscriptions. And so they might be a little bit hesitant to like place another order this month and then increase their subscription for next month to 100. But if they're feeling that instant gratification of setting up their perks reward at the same time and seeing, oh, cool, I'm going to get a free X Factor, I'm going to get a free collagen, whatever it is they're going to get, they're stoked and they're going to set that up. And so once we get people used to this system and paying attention to their perks, we're going to have a lot less subscriptions turning off. And just remember that when you're signing somebody up and as you're teaching your team, part of the sign up process. In fact, I've got a girl that's signing up today. We've already talked about perks and she's not even signed up. So part of the sign up process for me now is talking about perks and how they get 250 perks with their welcome pack. And let's make sure that you don't turn your subscription off, because when you turn your subscription off, as opposed to editing it, you're going to lose those perks points. And after month 2, you already have enough perks to get free products. So if you're making this a part of your onboarding process where you talk about perks, and in the next 60, 90 days, as we get rolling with this, guys, we're going to see things like 90% retention rates. We're going to see huge jumps in like people being happy with their products, excited they're getting free stuff, getting better results. And you're consequently in your business going to see your points grow, and you're going to see yourself be able to rank up. So we're not trying to, I think like Emily said, we're not trying to bulldoze over anybody and be like, well, I'm just going to do this. But the fact is, we don't want to leave people behind. We know some of you guys are super busy, or some people have a higher or a lower level of interest in doing this, and that's okay. Like, no judgment. We just want to make sure it gets done. That's all. We just want to make sure it gets done. So that's it with perks. Let's go ahead and move into talking about Mexico. Yeah? Okay. So I will go ahead and kick it off because I had a family come over here last night. They go to church with us, and he's from Mexico and his wife is from here, and they heard that Plexus was launching in Mexico and they were super excited. So they came over and we sat around the table for an hour and a half or 2 hours. We talked about Mexico. We talked about the potentials, and his family that was already, they've been sending some products to their family in Mexico because it's helping their family. And now their family is kind of interested in this business opportunity. And as we sat and talked for 2 hours, I heard like, oh yeah, I know a lot of people that own businesses and pharmacies and doctors. And I know people that have other businesses. And so we talked a lot about the business, and his particular family is not a wealthy family. He doesn't come from wealth. And a lot of times we think, well, people in Mexico just don't have money to do this. Or this is a lot of money. It's super expensive. People aren't going to be able to do this. And he was like, oh, no, there's money in Mexico. And there are business people, and there are people that want change. And I just want you guys to understand that first and foremost. Like, if you're thinking, the products are too expensive for Mexico. You're wrong. First of all, they're not too expensive. And one of the reasons they're not too expensive is because our compensation plan is the same in America as it is in Mexico. And so they're being paid the same way that we're being paid. And the way that you make a sustainable business in Mexico is everybody goes silver. If everybody goes silver, everybody makes an income, everybody is blessed. They double their money back on their $1.99 pack, and that's how you have a thriving business in Mexico. But this week, when I explained to him the international bonus pool, he was blown away. And this is the part that is really, really exciting, that should have you chattering and talking with everybody you know. Everybody that's lived in Mexico, knows somebody from Mexico, served in Mexico, anybody with any possible ties. Maybe they're not from Mexico, but they're from Central America or South America. They have friends in Mexico. This is you talking to everybody, because the first 25 people in Mexico that go Senior Ruby, and Emily will go over like the different details of it, but the first 25 people that build a Senior Ruby business in Mexico, also the first 25 that build a Senior Ruby business in Canada, the first 25 that build a Senior Ruby business in Australia, will be privy to this special international bonus pool that they will receive for the rest of their life, as long as they are in good standing and maintain their position in Plexus. They will get this quarterly bonus for the rest of their life. And so Emily's going to talk about what this looks like, what the details are, and again, why you should be so excited about it.
So I've had a lot of questions, and I still feel like we still have questions that aren't answered yet. So that's okay. When you think of a question, ask it, because then we can continue to get clarification. And the thing that we just keep seeing with Mexico is the more we do it, the more we learn. That's what ground floor is. That's what founder is it's a lot of learning as you go. So some clarifying questions that I had were, does it mean that if we build a Senior Ruby team in Mexico, for example, then we who have an American business already would qualify for this 1% international pool if we are one of the first 25 Senior Rubies in Mexico? And the answer is yes, correct. You just have to have 5 frontline ambassadors in the country, whether it's Mexico, Australia, or Canada. So 5 in that country, and then 750 points under those ambassadors, and you qualify. So let's say that I have our friend Juan Pablo that we met at Diamante, right? And he's going to sign up under Dory. And then Dory has to get 4 other people in Mexico to sign up, and he would be one of them. So 5 in total. So Juan Pablo, and then 4, then Diego, then 3 other people that she knows there are all going to sign up, right? And then from those 5 people, she needs to create a Senior Ruby point team. 750 points have to come from any of those 5. So let's just say, who knows outside leg points for Senior Ruby? Who knows the answer to that? Does anybody know the answer to that?
150.
Thank you, Ashlyn. So you have to have 150 points outside of one person. So let's say you have like one person that really wants the business in Mexico, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is my person. That's who I'm going to work with to go Senior Ruby. You work with them. You just have to make sure to have 150 points come from outside of that one person. So basically a gold and a silver, or sorry, a gold and a super silver outside of that one person. And then 600 points have to come from this person, right? So you're having 750 points altogether from those 5 people. Now, my next question was, what if an American moves to Australia, for example? Just hypothetically speaking, what if an American moves to Australia? What would that look like? And they said, same. Anyone from any market can capture that bonus from Canada, Australia, and Mexico. And we will have an FAQ coming soon. If we don't have it already. I haven't looked today, but as of Friday, there was not an FAQ for us. So the biggest thing that I want to tell you here is that it's just like building in America, right? The question that I get from a lot of people is they say to me, what's a message that I should send? Like, how should I be reaching out to people in Mexico? And I said, just the way you're reaching out to your friends in the United States about the products and about the program of how to get your products paid for. You should be reaching out to them about how our products are going to change their health. You should equally be reaching out to them saying, and when you get started right now, you have the opportunity to be one of the first 25 founders in the country. And that's going to give you access to a 1% founders bonus pool that you will get forever as long as you hold and maintain 150 people ordering in your organization. Right? And the reason why I say, we know it's not that perfect as 150 people, because when your team gets bigger, your points go deeper and you get less, but just to speak hypothetically for people in simple ways so they explain it when you're talking to them, you can just say, and if you're the first person to get first 25 people to get 150 people ordering with you, and you maintain that, then for the rest of your life, you're going to get this bonus pool. For example, once there's $700 million of income in Mexico, then that equates to about $40,000 when it's 1%. These are hypothetical numbers, right?
A hundred million. It was
sorry.
100 million is about 40,000, not 700
Okay,
million.
Sorry. Brooke is the numbers person. She's so good at it. Okay, so when we have a certain amount of sales, those numbers are going to fluctuate, which is why it's so amazing that it's a percentage, you guys, because the more money that Plexus makes in Mexico, the more you're going to get in that percentage. And you might be feeling like I have felt over the weekend, like, I'll just let somebody else do it. Like, I don't know if it's worth like risking the effort. And then somebody messaged me and she's like, oh my gosh, I have 2 girls that grew up in Mexico and they're ready to go. And I'm like, I'm back in the game, right? So it's like, just get excited and start talking to people, because why not try it? I know I have the same fears as you. I have the same doubts as you, but I will forever regret it if I don't at least try. And I might not make it into the first 25. I might not, but in the process, I guarantee I'm going to have a larger team in Mexico than if I do nothing, right? So I totally understand why it might feel overwhelming to anyone, because that's a normal feeling when you're building another organization, especially in a new country. But you're going to be so much smarter at the end of this because you'll have so much experience, right? Brooke, anything to add about that?
There are a lot of questions about, where do we send people? What resources do we have for them? We have our Plexus eMexico group. If you want to join that and you don't know what we're talking about, again, reach up to your nearest Jewel upline or your upline. Maybe your upline is in that group already. Have them add you. We have videos that are in Spanish. We've done several testimonial and product calls in Spanish, and we have files in there about Fast Start Silver program in Spanish, about the compensation plan in Spanish. Plexus does a call every single Tuesday night in Spanish. If you have people that are really serious about doing this and they've got a good amount of influence, then you can always reach out and say, hey, could we do a private call with them? You can we can work on some of those. But one of the things that is a little bit difficult to track right now is that with the pre-registration, we don't know exactly how many people in our organization have pre-registered. And so what Emily and I would love for you guys to do is, if you do have people that are pre-registered, people in your organization, we would love a list of those names, because once we have 30 people that are pre-registered in Mexico, we'll start doing regular training calls. Both of our husbands speak Spanish. We have team members that speak Spanish, and so we can provide training calls in Spanish or English. And we're here offering our time and everything that we know about Mexico. And if you bring the people and they're ready, we know how to train them. We know how to get them ready. We know all the details of how they can build a good business in Mexico, and whether they want to make $100 extra a month, which can be a lot for some people, or 500, or they want to go all the way and be one of those first founders. We want to help them to be successful. So send the names of everybody in your organization that has pre-registered. Just go ahead and make yourself a goal that you are going to find somebody or multiple people, and you're going to talk to everybody that you know. It really is an incredible opportunity. And when you sit down and you put this in front of somebody that lives in Mexico, they're astounded. If you show them this opportunity and what the products can do, we'll have a triplex in Mexico. We'll have lean shakes. We'll have a special tea. We'll have active. So we have products that people in Mexico are really going to love. And it's not as many products as we have in the States right now, which is actually great for the beginning because it will be less overwhelming. And then every 1 to 2 months, they'll be releasing another product. So that will help the country to just become used to the products and get people started in a simple way. They're all labeled for resale if they need to resell some of the products to be able to afford them. There's so many different details, guys. And if you're in your mind thinking this is just too hard, like Emily said, or too expensive, or too, for every single one of you that's saying that, there is somebody that is saying there is a way. I am going to do this, and they are going to crush it. And it's just a matter of your mindset, and what you're deciding is going to be your truth, and who you're deciding you're going to go out there and find. So I'm super excited about it. I know Emily is. I think that's all we have to say about Mexico. And again, remember that bonus pool is also good for Australia, also good for Canada. And they're not sharing the same bonus pool. It's the sales in Mexico goes to the first 25 in Mexico. The sales in Canada goes to the first 25 in Canada. Sales in Australia goes to the first 25 in Australia. So it's per international market. So, hey, you want to get somebody in Australia, somebody in Canada, somebody in Mexico? Well, hallelujah. That's going to be really, really awesome. So anyway.
It starts as of January 1st. So for example, there are, senior rubies already in Australia, but they have to build a brand new 750 points in their country to be able to be one of the first 25 founders. So it's an even playing field, which should make all of us so excited. And anytime that you start something new, it's overwhelming. Like, it's a good reminder of how our brand new people feel when they join, right? So it will just humble us and have greater awareness for how everybody else feels when we're all comfortable now. So yeah, okay. Do we want to do our product training now?
Yep, let's do our product training. And then we've got one other topic after that.
Okay, perfect. Where is Katie Shoemaker? She is so excited to train for us tonight. She did not see my text message, I don't think. By the look on her face, she did not see my message.
What are we talking about?
I was going to have you talk about Joyome because I know you've been doing some research on Joyome. Was it Joyome or was it the collagen? I can't remember now.
Well, I listened to one video that you guys had on a team call about the collagen.
Will you share about that and just teach what you've learned, or do you need time to get your notes?
Do you mean, do I need time right now, or do I need time for next week? Because they're right there, but I don't know what they say.
We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you, Katie.
I've got something I can share, though.
I do love you, Emily.
Just something I've started doing, if you're interested in it. I've started picking different people in our team that have different expertise in areas, or perhaps a little bit of a different story, and started just interviewing them. I just posted one up today. I did an interview with Carol Anklam. She's a vegan. And so we talked about veganism and Plexus. And the thing that was a catalyst for me with that is I had a couple of girls that have an Instagram page that are vegans that reached out to me and were wanting to know about our products and our business. And we don't have strictly vegan products, but we have several people in our organization that are vegans. And so I did a video about that. And then I've also had questions about heavy metal detox and chelation. And Nancy Pappas is a super smart, amazing woman that knows all about that stuff. And so if you're looking for some nitty gritty on specific health conditions and things like that, you can look out for those trainings if there's something in particular that you want to learn about products or a specific condition. And so if you're looking for some extra education, you want to learn about what chelation is, heavy metal detox, or being a vegan in Plexus, that can be your education for this week. Sound
One
good?
thing, one thing, how about I add this? Because I actually messaged Carol about, and I can just read what she said about how she uses Plexus as a vegan, because a lot of people get this pushback from their vegan friends, and I loved her response. And she says, she believes supplementation is vital for any lifestyle, but as a vegan, it's critical. She says, we simply can't get all that we need from diet alone. I'm so thankful that Plexus fills in the gaps. I've always been picky about the source of my vitamins, and Plexus passes the test with veggie caps and fully methylated vitamins like B12 and folate. I'm happy knowing that even the vitamin D doesn't contain animal products. Our Mega X is a lifesaver for vegans because, as many of you know, it's plant-based, so it's not coming from an animal. Full spectrum omegas sustainably harvested from plants. My whole family drinks vegan lean daily. And, sorry, I lost my place, for extra protein, fiber, and vitamins. And I love that it's not full of soy isolate and artificial sweeteners. I started these products 2 years ago with the triplex combo, and I knew I'd be opening up the ProBio 5 capsules, because there's gelatin in them, at bedtime, and I'm totally okay with that. So some vegans are not okay with that, but some are, because they see the benefits inside of the ProBio 5 are greater. So they'll just open up the gelatin capsule and take the powder inside. The triplex has changed my family's health, and I still take it every day. And then she said that there are some things in the works that she knows about with Plexus, just specifically for vegans, that are really exciting. So stay tuned for that. And now, Katie, you don't have to be put on the spot about training Joy Ohm anymore, because we just did a vegan training. So yay, way to roll with the punches, Brooke.
Yep. And some simple things that your vegan friends are definitely not going to take would be the lean whey shakes, the collagen, because ours is animal-based collagen, and ease. So those are going to be the 3 products that for sure they're going to be like a no-no. ProBio 5 if they don't want to open the capsule. But we've got a couple of vegans on our team that faithfully use ProBio 5 because it's patented and there's no other probiotic like it that attacks candida. So anyways, that's our vegan training tonight. If you want to learn more, watch the video that I did with Carol. Okay, so we're going to close this out by talking about the next 3.5 months in your business. And, you know, Emily and I have talked about this a lot, and we've talked to other leaders in the industry and people that have been in network marketing and built successful businesses that have lasted and that have sustained great momentum and growth. And one of the things that I think when you're newer, or you just don't necessarily know the rhythm of business, because there is a rhythm in any kind of business you're in, whether it's toy sales and that like everything's going crazy between Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? Or whether it's network marketing. The true rhythm of network marketing is that from January to May, that is when the bulk of your business will grow. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't do anything else during the rest of the year. But I remember, Emily, maybe you can share this conversation about somebody that talked to Sean about you being in network marketing. I'll let you share that. But the bulk of that speed and momentum picks up from January through May typically. Why do you think we have a convention contest from January through April? We've had several new product launches in May. There's a reason why. That is when business is really rolling. And if you're not picking up your speed, maybe picking up your effort, working a little bit harder, digging in, being a little bit more intentional during that time, you may not experience the kind of growth that you're hoping to experience. And one of the things that Emily and I wanted to be clear about, which last week in our all-in retreat we were super clear about, is that, hey, if you don't want that momentum and you're not ready for that speed and you're not wanting to rank up in the next 3 or 4 months, totally fine. Like, there is nothing to be ashamed of. This is not a pressure call. This is not you suck if you don't grow by 300 points. It's none of those things, but it is us being honest with you and saying the natural rhythm of network marketing is that if you get your shovel in there and you start digging and you start planting seeds and you start watering that garden, you are going to see a really great harvest over this period of 5 months that will keep you at a good pace through the summer. that will keep things going and growing through the summer months when it's leaders retreat contest, or when you're trying to go emerald by July 31st. You don't get to turn it on in June. You have to turn it on right now if you want to see results for the rest of the year. And then of course you get a little blip again in the fall, October, November. You get a blip where sales will go up again. But this is the time. And so if you've kind of been on cruise control, you've sort of been chilling, it's time to wake up. So Emily's going to share a little bit more about that.
So 4 years ago, I was just about to hit senior gold in the next 2 weeks, right? And I was brand new. I was a stay-at-home mom that never did anything other than take care of our kids. And I remember that we were in the heat of momentum because I had finally I had finally influenced 5 people to work with me. And so because people were working with me, I was on my phone all the time. And I just instinctively knew that laundry was not the best use of my time and dishes were not the best use of my time. So I just stopped doing them. And I remember sitting on my couch once and Sean looked at me and he was just like, we have no clean underwear, like 0 clean underwear. What is happening right now? And I was like, I'll quit if you want me to. If you want me to quit, I'll quit. And I did not mean it. I was just threatening. It was a fake threat. But he was like, no, I don't want you to quit. I was like, I'll do it. If you want me to quit, I'll do it. And he's like, no, I just need, like, do you need help with the laundry? And I was like, I'm not doing laundry anymore. Like, no more laundry. And I could tell he was bothered by it, you know, like, I think I actually ended up going and bought us 7 new pairs of underwear because I wasn't going to go do laundry because I was so irritated by it. So I was like, I'll just buy new underwear. I'll keep buying new underwear till I get to emerald. Well, we'll just have tons of underwear, you know? And in that next 2 weeks, Sean met with a friend who he had known through his BNI group who had done network marketing for over 25 years. And they had this meeting planned, you know, months before any of this ever happened. But I do not believe that it was by mistake that he met with him 2 weeks after that little threat that I gave him, right? And at the meeting, Sean found out that this man had been a professional network marketer for 25 years. And he said, you know, what advice would you give me for my wife who's like brand new at this? And he goes, don't let her do a load of laundry. Don't let her clean a dish. Don't let her mop a floor. Don't let her do anything other than be a mom to your kids and work her business from January 1st through May 15th. That's my best advice to you. And that changed everything for our marriage and network marketing because it was in that moment where Sean had third-party validation, from someone else who was like, man, don't you see it? Like, this is it. She's doing it. Like, give her wings to fly instead of clip them, right? And so maybe for you, laundry and dishes and mopping are not holding you up. But our kids were 7, 5, 3, and 4 months old. So I basically did nothing other than laundry, dishes, and I didn't mop, let's be honest. But I just wasn't. But you know what I'm saying. So that's all I have to say about that. If there's something else, my kids are all walking in. Hold on. Just 1 minute. Hold on. Awesome. The vans came, guys. The shoes came. We're so excited. So the thing is that figure out what is taking up your time that is something that's in the 80%, right? Like there's a lot of things that you need to do in your business with your personal touch. But there are a lot of things that someone else could do at 80% efficiency as you, that you could farm out. And it can be done just as well. Like, do you really need to be folding the laundry and putting it away? I know it bothers you when it's not folded the right way. Like, I get it. Totally understand that. But could it get done with 80% as best by someone else? Maybe it's not your husband. Maybe it's a girl in the neighborhood. Maybe it's your sister. I remember Christy Jex paid her sister to come do that. Like, what is it that it could be? Ashlyn says she hired someone last week. Why did she wait so long? right? Just farm out the things that you really don't like doing. If you love laundry and that's where you get your best thinking done, by all means, don't cut the laundry out, right? Like pick the things that are keeping you from doing what you want. And it's not forever. When you get to diamond, you can do all the laundry you want, but I don't want to do the laundry. Again, I really like not having the laundry. Yeah, I know. I don't love the way that my bed is always made. So they change the sheets and then I remake the bed every Thursday night. And I don't say a word about it because I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't have even got the process started. So they change the sheets, they put them on wrong. I'm going to fix them and I'm not going to complain about it. I just fix it
Yeah.
once and then I enjoy it for 6 more days. So those are
Yeah.
just some ideas. It doesn't have to look the same as mine. Please don't hear me say that. It doesn't have to look the same as mine. There are things that it's going to look different for you.
Yeah, it looks different for everybody. And as I was sitting here listening to Emily, I was thinking about a podcast I listened to about a week ago on buffering. And it may not be your style. It might be your style. It's the life coach school. Sometimes I listen to her podcast and it made me think about how I used to buffer with a lot of things like folding the laundry perfectly, being the only one that was allowed to load the dishwasher because I did it right. And so I would fill my time with a lot of different activities because I was avoiding my life and I was avoiding the actual like hard things. And so sometimes we fill our time with these things that are good things to do. Like it's good to have a clean house. It's good to, I don't know, go and do service for everybody else. And it's easier than sitting down and working your business. It's easier than facing rejection. It's easier than being told no. It's easier than opening up your virtual office. And so we buffer and we avoid the things that we know we need to do in order to get to where we want because of fear. And so I want you to take a little bit of time to maybe identify what are some buffering behaviors that are leading to you saying, I don't have time to do that. Okay. Even if it's, I don't have time to learn things. Chris Akeen is upstairs, like helping me get rid of half the stuff in my house, which is quite a chore because I've been married 22 years and I have 6 kids. And she's listening to videos while she's cleaning. She's learning while she's cleaning. You have time to learn. If you're struggling with a specific skill, like how to deal with rejection, how to reach out to people, how to develop silvers, we all have to drive places. We all have to cook dinner, right? I mean, we all have to do these things. And if you could be simultaneously learning at the same time, and then when you're done cooking dinner, your kids do the dishes because you teach them how to load the dishwasher and you relinquish control of that because you're no longer buffering. You're taking the information that you learned from the video you watched and you're sitting down at your desk instead for 30 minutes and you're sending messages. And so I really have come to understand and believe that I have time for the things that I want to do, and I take full responsibility when I use my time poorly. And I use my time poorly a lot of the times. I am not perfect. That's why we're talking about this. I am a work in progress with not buffering. I am a work in progress with using my time the way that I need to be using my time so that I can be a powerful instrument for good. I am not my best, I am not used in my most excellent self when I am just cleaning my house. I am not used in my most excellent self when I'm doing those tasks because there are other things that I can do that make a greater impact. And again, I'm not making fun of you if you clean your house and you love to clean your house. I'm just saying, are there things that you're doing that perhaps you could teach your kids how to do? Or your husband could help out more with? Maybe if you sat down and you communicated and you said, hey, I really want to get to this rank by April, or I really want to get to this rank by May. This is how it's going to change our financials. This is how it's going to change our family. Do you think you can step up and handle bedtime? Do you think you and the boys can step up and do the dishes? These are real conversations I had because for a long time in my business, my first 2 years, I handled everything. I cleaned everything. I cooked everything. I wiped every butt. I did every 3-way message. I got up at 5 a.m. and did Zooms. I did all the things and I didn't ask for any help. Oh, and I homeschooled one of those first 2 years in my business while I went diamond. Guess who just about had a nervous breakdown? Me. I was spending my time and my effort doing things that were not the most exceptional, excellent use of my time. And so I had to let go of some of that pride, because a lot of times you think, well, I can do it better, or I do it right, or if you want something done right, do it yourself. That's a load of BS, because like Emily said, if somebody can do it 80% as well, and if you're bringing in a paycheck that you never brought in before, that's money you have that you never had before. And you could allocate some of that money towards help. Okay, so really just think about these things. And if
And then
you
Brooke,
have not,
the other thing I want to add with that is when you do that, you bless other people's lives. Like
yes,
one of the things that my amazing friend and housekeeper told me is she said, Emmy, look at you bless 6 lives every week because you let us clean your house. And but like when you think about it that way, it's less about you and more about because we have more, we can give more to others. In something as
yes,
simple as hiring a housekeeper. Like Millie, I'm pretty sure we fully funded her 18-month mission. Like 100%, she's one of 6 kids in her family, and I'm pretty sure we paid for the whole thing. So think about like what you turning over some of those things, how that could bless other people's lives because they now have more.
yes. And asking people for help provides connection. My nanny that comes 3 days a week, her kids are all grown and she has to live here because her Parkinson's is better here. And she misses her kids and her grandkids so much. And we're a second family to her. And we provide work for her. And we make it possible for them to live here. And so if you're trying to do it all yourself, you're going to crash and burn eventually. Your business is going to suffer and you're not going to end up where you're meant to be. And now is the time to decide, listen, sit down tonight on the left-hand side of the paper, write down everything you're doing in a day, every single thing, down to changing diapers, doing bath time, doing the cleanup after breakfast, making lunches, like whatever it is, write down everything you're doing. And then I want to challenge you to cut that list in half over the next week, like in half. It might be painful to some of you, but if I'm just challenging you to do this, if you have big goals, okay, if you are super content where you are and you're like, I love my life, I don't want for anything more, fine, that's totally fine. But if you have big goals, you've got to dump all of that out and you got to cut that sucker in half, because you need to be able to at least increase your work time by half or double it in order to reach big, scary, audacious goals in the next 2.5 to 4.5 months. And that's just us coming to you honest, real, and raw, because we've done it. And the way that Emily and I did it in the beginning is we didn't ask for help and we did everything and we still made it to the top. But it was really hard and really painful. And that's why we talk about this all the time, because I want to tell my gold ambassadors from the beginning, hey, hire a neighbor girl to come over, give you 5, 6, 8 hours where you can work your business and she can do the dishes and fold the laundry. I wish I could go back and have done that, because I'm really happy with where I am. But if I had asked for help earlier on, I'd already be a triple diamond. Emily and Sean would already be diamond. No doubt if we had asked for help and gotten that life preserver sooner, we would have been crushing it even more. And we want you to learn that now, because we want you to reach your goals and reach them having striving satisfied. That is what we're aiming for. You are satisfied, joyful all along the journey, but you are still striving. You're still hustling. You're still working. I call it hustle with peace. You cannot hustle with peace if you're doing everything. Get some help. Be serious about your goals, double down on your time, and eliminate half of that crap you don't need to be doing. So that's all I have to say about it. Anything else we got to talk about, or we're
Any
good?
questions, guys? Because we're done. I loved what Jessie said. She said, I so needed to hear this today. I almost cried trying to get everything done by myself. And like when I read your comment there, I just thought, I remember torturing myself like that for 18 months, and then I started hiring people, and then I spent 18 months telling myself what a horrible person I was because I wasn't doing it all myself. And now I've made peace with all that. And I have so much joy watching somebody else do it because I get to enjoy the things that I do. So it's a journey. It's a journey.
Can I talk a little bit about money and be super honest with you
Yes.
guys? Okay, so you don't have to record this part.
I'll stop. Our call is now ended.
Yeah.